Howdy, Jawad is here. In this video, we are going to learn how to do plumbing in Revit. In this video, I will show you the way that you can model plumbing in Revit in the easiest way that we can. I have a small project that I prepared for this tutorial. I've placed some plumbing fixtures from plumbing fixtures part, and now you can also import them from your Revit library. These are some washing machine and dishwasher. And also we have some drains in here and in here and in here, and we have a bathtub and toilet. And now we want to start to model our plumbing. We have an automatic way for piping, and also we have a manual way. I will show you both of it, and you can find the best way for you. And if you want to go get access to all of these files, you can find all of them in our Patreon page. You can find the link in the description. Okay, now for example, after you've placed all of the equipments, and after adjusting your view, you can, for example, select some of the equipments or all of the equipments that you want to have in that piping system to be able to create automatic piping. To do that, let me select all of these, and in here we have, in modify tab, we have an option which is piping. Then you have to select the system type. The sanitary is right. Also, you can call it give it a name, because then you'll be able to categorize it or recognize it in system browser. Right, that the name is good too, but I'm going to open this system in system editor. Click on OK, and now we have our systems in here. Click just OK, and you've created your system. In system browser, you will have it in here. For example, let's go to the piping and sanitary. You will see your system in here. When you select it in here, it will select all of the system in here. Also, you can press tab on one of your equipments that are in the system that you've created, and then you will be able to select the whole system. Okay, now let's select the system, and then we have a additional option in here, which is generate layout, and then click on it and wait a moment, and then you will have the system in here. This is the system without doing any settings. We can do some settings to customize it to our need. The first part is that let's go to the top part, or we can go to the plan in here. The first part is that you can change the solution type. For example, you can do the perimeter, and you can go to the intersection. The one that I use usually is perimeter, but you can use networks too, but let's do it with perimeter. And then you can explore different solutions that Revit has found for your model. The difference is not that big, but I'm going to place the piping layer like this, because I want to place my riser pipes in here, so it will be more optimized, I think. But you can change it with your intentions and with your designs as you want. And then let's go to the 3D again. And now in here, I want to change some height. I want to change the height of these pipes. To do that, you need to go to the settings part in here, and then you have main and branch pipes. The blue ones are main, and the green one are branches. So let's go to the main type. I'm going to use pipe type PVC for my project, and for the offset from the base level, I'm going to go minus 500 millimeter, and for the branches I want to do the same thing. Now click on OK. Before doing anything, because we have slopes in our sanitary pipes, you can add the slope in here, but I advise you to do it after it, because it will be much easier. Because if you do it before if you do it here, it will cause lots of problems in further steps. So for me personally, I don't add them in this step, so I just click on finish and wait a little bit. And don't worry about the errors in here, because you have to fix some parts manually. That's the reason. And now let's go to the 3D and see the results. You can see with just one click, you can see the other parts of pipe, because I have a section box in here. Let me bring the section box a little bit down, and now let me hide the section box. And now you can see we have them in here, but you can see it's not that great, you know, because Revit is not a human, and you have to fix lots of these parts for yourself. For example, when you have branches in here, let me show you this. For example, let me move it in here. For example, you can see these are not connected, and also when you want to add branches, it's usually with some majority of codes or rules in different countries, you have to have the branches with 45 degree angle, so it's not going to give you the best option. So personally, you can modify all of these parts and you can correct them, but personally I prefer to do it manually from the start. So let's just Control Z and Control Z, and let's go to the first part, or we can delete them. For example, let me go to the maybe in here, and now we are good to go. And now we have our elements without any system type or something like that. The first thing that I want to do is go to the floor plan and start drawing from here, because with floor plans and sections you can do much better. But before going to the manual part, make sure to like this video and share it with your friends and colleagues. And if you want to get access to all of the exercise files and additional tutorials, you can go to our Patreon page. You can find the link in the description. But before starting the manual part, make sure that you have the right families in here, because I've seen some templates that are missing some families. The best template to use for this kind of work is system template. You need to go to the new project, and this is the right template for most of the MEP works, but you can create your own templates. But I'm going to use this template, and I have used this template for here. When you are creating pipes, make sure to assign them to the right system type. Make sure to put it on sanitary, because I have some the template has some pre-built filters. So let's just select the sanitary and select the right elevation for yourself, and for the size maybe 150 is good, but it depends on the building that you're designing. Now let's bring it in here, and for here I want to create a riser, so I just add a high number, maybe 4 meter, 4000, and without any clicking, just click on apply. It will create a riser for you. Let's go to the 3D, and you can see we have the right pipe that we want. Let me just delete these parts, and I want to have 2 sections for my help. So I go, just let me put it on English, and I press SE for section. You can go to the view and create your section. Let's have 2 sections in here, and also another section for right and left. Let's just select these sections and make sure to put them in a right shape for your work. And let me do it with the other one. Now press WT. Now you have all of the views that you need for working. It will be much better. And then I want to start my pipe from here, so I can go to the one of the sections that I have. For example, this one, let me name it to RL, and for this one maybe FB, and because it will be much easier to work. And for the right part, let's just make this section a little bit bigger, and for this part let's just create a pipe to this part, and now we have our pipe in here. But the part that I want to create my pipes is this part, so I have to do it in front back. And now let me just select this one, and let's go to the draw pipe. Let's go to a lower part, maybe in here. And now let's bring it to the place. I just bring it to a place that I can see it in plan. Now I have it in here. Now let's just do the draw pipe and bring it in here. Let's go to this to see the situation that we have. Let me make it this a little bit smaller, maybe 125. And now in here we have the sanitary connectors in here, and for this one we have it in here. You can connect them easily in here. The harder part is here, that I will show you in this part, because I'm not going to do that for all of those parts. So just let me create another maybe branch from here, CS, and let's create one in here, and let's bring it to here, but bring it to this part maybe. And now I want to create some branch for it. For the branches, as I said, I'm going to get the branches at 45 degree. Let me press TW on this, and now let's just click on CS, and let's choose a smaller part, maybe 65. And now in here I go with 45 for the branch. Now I have the branch that I need. But before connecting this with this, you have to know that the rotation of this element is wrong, so with the flow that we have. So I have to delete this one and delete this one, and then I have to press TR with these two, and then you can select the elbow in here and just click on this plus option in here, and it will adjust itself to the size that we are going to connect to it. And now we just select this and connect this to this. Now we have the right rotation, and now we can start to create the connection from it. To start with, go to the one of the section and just create a pipe in here. Let me give it maybe a small one, maybe 80, and bring it just down and just create a pipe in here to make your work easier. And because we don't have enough space for the convert part in here, conversion part, for the sake of this video I'm going to bring the main pipe a little bit lower. But if you want to adjust the connector on the toilet, you can go to the family and do it for yourself, or you can manipulate the sizes in here. But let me just select all of the parts, press tab, and bring them a little bit down to here maybe. And now let's just align it, AL for align, and align this part to here, and this is the right part for us. Now to rotate these to 45, we have to do something special in a different way. You have to press tab in here and select all of the parts. And now if you want to rotate it, it is better to do it in 3D because you will have a better snapping. And then click on rotate, and before doing any rotation, put it on wireframe, and let's select it again, press tab, and let's go to the 3D, and let's click on rotate in here. And now if we just rotate in here, it will rotate the whole thing. So we have to go to the center of rotation in here, place the rotation anchor to this part, and now let's just rotate it 45, and now we will be good to go. And then let's go to the shaded again, and now for this part we can do it in plan 2, and just delete this one and bring this part a little bit down to here or lower. And now let's just TR these two, and now we have to do the same thing that we did. Now we can just extend this part to this part, and now we have the right connection, and we can do the same thing for this part. For example, let's go to this part, and for here let's go to the 45 degree, and now let's create a branch in here, and I will do the work for just another drain, and you can continue creating it for yourself. Let me go back. You can see when I'm changing it, because it is connected, it will change the whole thing. So for me, I'm just going to change this part, and I'm going to select this part and change the place in this way, and maybe to bring drain a little bit in this part. And now you can create just you can do the same thing again. Just select the drain, but before that maybe bring the sections to here and to here. And now let's just select the drains, and click on draw pipe, and let's bring it lower and click create a pipe for us. And even if you want to change this part, you can do it, but or maybe if you want to place some traps, as we call them, you can just select the elbow and you can change it with the right family that we have in here. For example, we have M trap, and you can change the way that you have your drains. But if you don't have this family, you can find it on our Patreon, but you can find it on Revit library. But there is a difference between these two, because I have changed the category to pipe fittings instead of pipe accessories to be able to select them in here, because in traditional way you have to place it manually and connect the pipes manually. That's a headache. So you can use that family and change the category, or you can use our family on our Patreon. Now let me just align this part to this. Just align this part to this part. Now we have the right parts. Now let me just select all of them, and let's go to 3D and do the same thing again. Place at the middle of this part, but because we are in shaded we can't, so let's go to the wireframe and let's do the same thing again. 45. And now let's go back to shaded. You can see I'm using shortcuts for shaded and wireframe. You can do it with KS on your keyboard, and you can find the wireframe, hidden line, and shaded, and you can create shortcuts for them too. And now you can just press TR for these two. Let me see what is happening. Let me just delete these parts for a second. Now let me trim these two, and let's select this part and click on this part. You can see we don't have enough space to create that kind of connections there. So in here we have different ways to solve it. You can change the pipe dimension, pipe sizing. You can change the location of your equipment. It depends on your design. But let me just change the equipment maybe in here. Let me delete this part and delete this part. Let me bring it in here. Let me create a pipe for this part. Now let's do it again. Now let's do the same thing again. You can see I can't create it. Let me see the real problem in here. If that didn't work either, we have to do something else. In these situations, I bring the equipment to a really far place, and then I will trim them together, and then you can do the exact thing again. Now you have gave it much space to do the thing, and let's create a pipe in here. And now you can select the equipment and you can just move it in the right place. You can see you have to do it if you want to preserve the pipe sizes in many situations, or you can do some other parts. As I said, you can change the pipe size and all of that. For example, I just can select these two and change the size of them. They will need a much lower space to work with, for example, something like this. But you have to do it before it, because when you create fittings it will be much harder to do. For example, you have to delete this and you have to change the size of it to maybe 80, and then you have to continue it. And let me delete these parts, and now you have to extend these two, and now you have a smaller parts, but it depends on you, as I said. Now let me move this together to here, and now you can just create something like this, but you can do the 45 rules in here if you want, but it depends on you, and it depends on the way that you want to have your model. It's not going to work like this, because I have to move these and move all of these to another place, because it can't work with the dimensions that we have. Let me just bring it in here, and let's just trim again, and now you can see we have these options in here. The plumbing is in my opinion, is the most challenging part of MEP, and with one video or two video you are not going to be expert in plumbing, it needs lots of try and error. I try to show you a way to the solutions that I have for the places that you may encounter some problems, but it depends on the code of your country. Maybe even with your code it will be much easier, but I use some of the codes that we use in our country. If this video was helpful, make sure to like this video and share it with your friends and colleagues. And you can find the project file and additional exercise files on our Patreon page. You can find in the link in the description. And if you want to be able to create docs in Revit, make sure to watch this video in here.